fancy seeing you here on the OurMFC YouTube channel on weekly news number, whatever it says down there. Yeah. Cheers for coming along. You know, it's nice to have friends. Because that's what we are. We've built a strong bond. Speaking of strong bonds, I like Martin Piero. You know who else like Martin Piero? Everyone. You know, doesn't. Huddersfield's B team. Yeah, that's right, we're going straight into it because he scored twice against them. This was before the Stoke game, by the way. This was a while back. I've been busy. Okay. There might be a bit of outdated stuff on here. Don't shout at me. Okay. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Bloody hell, honestly. But anyway, Martin scored twice. Joshy Coburn scored as well, as did Cal Kavanagh, all grabbing goals in a 5-1 friendly win over Huddersfield B team, with Leah Saliki, Hernandez, Fry, Ikpeazu, Wood and Taylor all getting game time as well. Obviously, since then, we've seen Dale Fry in the first team again, replacing Bamba, who probably just needed a rest, you know, after what he's been through. Just probably needed a rest. And Dale Fry performed admirably, so I've been told. So good on him. Chris Wilder came out in his pre-match press conference against Stoke and said that, you know, he'd like to do more of those friendlies, but that it's difficult to arrange them. I mean, if it's giving game time to the likes of Coburn, Kavanagh, against kind of, you know, it was Huddersfield's B team, but against, you know, actual proper professional men's players. I'm not saying they're not, boys. You know, if you're watching, I'm not having a go. But just to give them that experience against you know, seasoned players, which I'm sure they would have got in that game. Obviously, it'd be not. I mean, Coburn was getting it in the first team. He's not anymore. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have the kind of speed and movement that Wilder wants from his front two. Which, you know, I mean, Boro definitely has the movement, and what more as well. I mean, and he's got the pace in behind. Did miss a sitter against Stoke, but you know, I don't want to see any criticism of our King Duncan Watmore. All right, after coming in, earning his contract, smashing it for us last season, 7 goals, top scorer, came in January. This season, you know, he's been class as well. Works his socks off. Keep him on, Duncan. You know, they're better. Won't get blisters then. But yeah, no slander on Duncan Watmore, okay? Leave it out. I know I've got a massive pull in the Boro fan base, so just come on. So moving on, Boro were drawn away to Mansfield Town in the FA Cup third round. Not Newcastle, which I saw people clamouring for, because, you know, would have been an easy 6-0 win, maybe 5 if we're feeling generous. But Mansfield it is. So, yeah, I have no complaints with that. It's your standard FA Cup third round tie, isn't it? I can't provide any cutting edge insight on Mansfield. I'd like to think we get through, and that's not any slander on Mansfield Town. It's just you'd expect us to get through that, really. Especially with the way we're playing at the moment. You know, we're on good form, we're playing well. Top the boys. Let's go win the FA Cup, yeah? Let's have a cup run, Chris. Now, on to the next piece of weekly news. Mark Tinkler is going to be the new under-23s Boro manager, as Twitter sends me a notification there. Probably wasn't about Mark Tinkler. If it was, that'd be weird. Should we have a look, just in case? I know it's very unprofessional. No, it's not. It's not Mark Tinkler. It is an OurMFC tweet, so follow the OurMFC Twitter, guys. But yeah, Mark Tinkler is stepping up from the under-18s to take over as the under-23s manager after the previous one left to go and be Hartlepool boss. So go you, Mark. Go, and viewers. I lost track of thought, I'll be honest with you. My brother phoned me, talk about Christmas presents. Not for me. Christmas is forgiving, guys. If that's one thing you take away from this video, Christmas is forgiving. Okay. Now we'll leave life advice and we'll go back to weekly news. Boro's Academy is number 9 in the country. That's good, you know, for everyone. Everyone loves a homegrown player. Yeah, who doesn't? As much as we love Martin, I'd love him. Would I love him more actually if he came for the academy? Would I? He is our Argentine, after all. You know, finish the song in the comments. Obviously, in the actual, well, it's hard to sing it. But yeah, Boro Academy is the 9th in the country. All 8 above it are Premier League clubs. So we are the highest non-Premier League club so we are the highest non-Premier League academy in the country. That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick. Hopefully we can attract some good young players. I mean, I'm not sure who was above us, but I'd wager it wasn't Sunderland or Newcastle. No slander to Sunderland or Newcastle. Sunderland are in League One and Newcastle had Mike Ashley for years, so I doubt their academy is exactly Tier 1. So hopefully, nice ball for Northeastern talent there. Speaking of Northeastern talent, and he's not from the Northeast, but he's at Newcastle, Dwight Gayle, who, according to Footy Insider, we're looking to bring on loan alongside Stoke. West Brom and Forest are also in the race for him as well. So, Dwight Gayle, let's have a chat. He's not here. That's not what I'm saying. Let's have a chat about Dwight Gayle, I should say. Well, he's never really banged in the Premier League. His highest Premier League goal-scoring tally was in 2013-14 when he scored 7 for Palace. And that season, shall we have a look? Was he taking many shots? 1.2 a game. I mean, he's not really a shot monster until he's in the Championship. He's not a massive shot monster then, but 2.4 in his most recent season with West Brom, 2.8 per game when he was here with Newcastle. And in those 2 seasons, he scored 23 for Newcastle and 24 for West Brom. So, I mean, that's pretty good if he wants to come here and, only be here for half the season if he does join. If he comes in and contributes 10 to 15 goals, that could be the difference between, getting top 6 and not getting top 6. I don't have too much to add about his style of play. I haven't watched him too much. Should we look at dribbles? Is he? We'll look at offside, see if he's getting in behind too much. I mean, he's not really getting caught offside too often. For West Brom, it's 0.4 in the Championship. Newcastle 0.5 per game. In the total, how many times he caught offside? Caught offside 17 times in 2018-19 and 16 times in the 16-17 season with Newcastle. So, I mean, that might say something about their styles of play. Maybe they weren't looking to stretch in behind. Maybe he's just good at timing his runs, or maybe that's not what he does. Like I say, I haven't watched him play too much, but if you just look at the goal record, I mean, if Chris Wilder's looking for him, then clearly he's going to fit into the style of play. We wouldn't be signing him otherwise. And the goal record, that's what you're looking for. And 24 and 23 is a good return. Only 6 of those between those 2 seasons were outside of the box. So he's not a shooter from long range. He gets into good positions. 12 of his goals for West Brom were in the penalty area. 10 of them were in the penalty area for Newcastle. Does that mean penalties? Should we have a look? Situations? Penalties? None of them were penalties either. 10 of them for West Brom came from set pieces, interestingly. But the majority of the goals he scored are from open play. So, yeah, I think Dwight Gayle will be a good addition on loan, even if it's just for 6 months. If he came in, bagged 10 to 15 goals, like I said, that could be a real difference maker in getting us towards those playoffs. Speaking of recruitment, Footy Insider coming in again. Apparently, former Swansea head of recruitment Andy Scott is set to join the club and become the new chief scout. Shall we have a look at Swansea's signings recently? Because he's been head of recruitment. Now, this, obviously, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes at Swansea. But if we look at, let me load up Transfermarkt, big up Transfermarkt, quality website if you're looking for transfer things. Although there's slander on their transfer values. Can't remember why, but there is. Swansea, not Swansea. Crikey. I'm so professional. Swansea City transfers recently. Let's have a look. Should we have a peek? History. Is this going to show me? Transfers and rumours. Wow, I haven't used Transfermarkt in ages. Andy Scott, football. Is this going to? No, not a football. There we go. Head of recruitment. Oh, found him on LinkedIn. Shall I add him as a friend? Here he is. How long has he been head of recruitment at Swansea City Football Club? Let's have a look. From July 2019. Cool. He was sporting director at Watford as well. Head of recruitment at Brentford in 2016-17. I mean, that bodes well because he was only there for a year, surprisingly, but he was only there for a year at Watford as well, and he's been at Swansea for about 2 years, 2.5. But if he was at Brentford in the 16-17 season, I'm going to have to do some research. 1920. Who they brought in? Ryan Brewster on loan. I mean, he smashed it for them on loan. They managed to sell Ollie McBurney for 15, 17 mil. Daniel James they sold for 16 mil as well. A couple of quality loans here. Conor Gallagher, Mark Gay, Freddie Woodman, Ryan Brewster. All of them did very well on loan. No signings really. Jake Bidwell on a free. That was that season. Bring it forward a season. Gibbs White on loan. He's obviously doing really well at Sheffield United now. Jamal Lowe, they brought him in. Sold Joe Rodon for 10 mil. Couple of some quality sales here. Ryan Manning, he's all right. I mean, he he's a loser and he fouled Dijksteel last season, but he stinks. Jamal Lowe, he's all right. They brought in Gay again on loan. Victor Gyökeres, who obviously we're now seeing do well at Coventry. What about this season? If they brought in this season, Joel Pirro from PSV, who's obviously doing well for them. Jamie Patterson, who we nearly had. So the signings really have been pretty good for them. I mean, they made a profit on Jamal Lowe after one season, pretty much doubled him. How did he do at Brentford? It was 16, 17, wasn't it? Sergi Canos, who's doing well for them in the Prem now. Rico Henry. Florian Joseph Zone. Probably not how you pronounce it. They all came in. Obviously, Henry and Canos are still staples of the team now in the Premier League. So Daniel Bentley on a free. Romain Sawyer's on a free. John Egan on a free. Some good signings here, man. What? They sold Scott Hogan for nearly 10 mil. Shiver me timbers. They got rid of Jack O'Connell to Sheffield United, and they brought in John Egan. And then John Egan, wow. Would you believe it? And then it was also Watford as well. So, I mean, I'm seeing some good signings here. You know, if he is going to come in as our chief scout, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Joel Pirro, like I said at the start of this bit, it's impossible to tell if he was behind all of these transfers, you know, because we don't know what was going on behind these. But it says he was the head of recruitment at Brentford. So you'd have to say he had a hand in it, surely. And then he was sporting director at Watford for 8 months, and then UK football recruitment director. I'd assume that means he was only looking at players in the UK. I'm not sure. And then obviously he's been the head of recruitment at Swansea, and he's done well for them. So if we look at 2018-19, he was the sporting director for them. So we'll look at that season. Right, okay. Who are we seeing? Gerard Deulofeu came in, who's been pretty good for them. Big Benny Foster, the cycling GK. You know, some would say that it was down to Andy Scott that Ben Foster started YouTube. You know, that's what I've heard through the grapevine. Richarlison, they sold him for 30, 35 mil that season. Make of that what you will. I'm just throwing information at you now. You know, I'm sure you're enjoying it. I'm not seeing too many exciting transfers. Gerard Deulofeu for 12 mil. I mean, yeah, he's been. I mean, he did well for them. But yeah, they've made some good signings. Andy Scott has in his time at these different clubs. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Kind of wish he'd made the sign of Emmanuel Dennis. That would have made me a lot more confident. But I think Andy Scott, if he comes in as head of recruitment, I mean, I like to see the club being modernised. You know, we've brought in a director of football, which we didn't have for ages. We've brought in a head of recruitment, possibly, or chief scout, he would be, sorry. Just let's get Neil Bowser less involved. Okay, because while we don't know what goes on behind the club, it doesn't look good on Big Neely Bowser. I think we'll move on to the final bit now. Apparently, Boro, Swansea and QPR are battling out to sign Rangers defender Jack Simpson in January. So, Big Jack Simpson. He's been at Bournemouth and Rangers. That's about it, really. He's played in the Europa League. He played 12 minutes in the Europa League. So, what an aerial duel in that time, though. I'd imagine they were just trying to cling on. Not like, what's his face from Star Trek? I don't know. He hasn't played too much senior football. I mean, he's 24 years of age, and he's only had 1,416 minutes in his career of senior football. This season, he's got 1 start, 2 substitute appearances. He's played 115 minutes. I mean, let me have a look. 178 centimetres in feet. Bosh. He's 5'8". Is he a centre back? He's a centre back, and he says he's 5'8". Maybe he's the next Cannavaro. What do I know? All I know is he's not getting good game time at Rangers. He's got a pretty good pass success rate. 87% so far this season in limited time. In the season, he played the most minutes with Bournemouth in 2020-2021. He had an 84.6 pass completion rate. Made 1 tackle a game, 2.3 clearances. Offensively, no, nothing there. But yeah, the pass actually was pretty good. 2.8 long balls a game. Were they accurate long balls a game, though? Let's find out. Passes. Accurate long balls per game? Where are you at, big one? 2.8 accurate long balls a game in his short time at Bournemouth. Pretty good. In terms of his, where was aerial? Don't think, what's his aerial win rate? He was attempting 5.1 aerial duels at Bournemouth, but the win rate is not good. He lost 2.9 of those per 90. So, I mean, he's not going to be an aerial behemoth, really. But as you'd probably expect with him being 5'8". It says he's a central defender. Surely he's not a central defender. This must be wrong. It says he's only plays central defender. Just Transfermarkt say something different. This can't be right. I'm not being heightist. I mean, I'm 5'8" myself, and I'm by no means a centre half. I'm by no means a footballer. Well, hang on. Well, hang about. Okay. What? Well, I don't know who to believe here. Have I got 2 different players? No, they're both at Rangers. They're both called Jack Simpson. This one says height 178 centimetres. Have I typed something in wrong? Am I being stupid, or is the internet? 178 centimetres, 5.8399 feet. But then on Transfermarkt, it says he's 1.90 metres. So I've Googled what that is, and that's 6'2". So what's going on? Oh, bloody no. Well, if he's 6'2", I could see why he's a centre-back. He's been at Bournemouth basically his whole time, hasn't really played. Joined Rangers this season for, I believe that's an undisclosed fee. But reportedly, we're in for him alongside Swansea and QPR, as I said. Well, if he is 6'2", I can see why he's a centre back. But I don't know if I should trust who scored now. But if he is 6'2", that aerial win rate is not very good. Doesn't seem to be. I mean, he's still not great in the air by the looks of things. But do you need that in this team when you've got Del Fry alongside him? I mean, he's not an amazing passer, but does the job. 2.8 accurate long balls a game is pretty good. But we're not going to be playing many long balls under a Wilder system. Well, actually, we do hit it into the channel quite a lot. I'm talking rubbish. Sorry, I'm just a bit taken aback by the height thing. It's blown me Jimmy socks off. As I'm sure this video has blown your Jimmy socks off. Do you like the lighting, by the way? I've decided to turn my bedroom light off and just go for the lamp. Yeah, I think it's better. I mean, there's still a reflection in my glasses, but if I take them off, I can't see. So what can you do? You know? What can you do? I think we're going to leave it there, though. You know, I've covered everything in, I was going to say greater detail than it needed. I haven't really. I've waffled in greater detail than was needed, but that's what you expect when I do a video. We're going to end it here. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. It really means a lot. You know, let us know if you have any opinions, if you want me to stop saying you know. Cheers for watching, though. It's been a pleasure, and I will catch you in a bit. Ciao.